last week we started just our new lesson in science, and we have a new essential question. Everybody turn to the back of the room and find where our essential questions are posted on our science board. If we look at the second one on there, it says, how forces change motion. Perfect. How do forces change motion? You guys can face back this way again. We briefly touched last week about some of the vocabulary words. I thought it was important to jump into them a little bit, but I want to go over them again today a little more in depth so we can see them. I am missing a few of them on our board, but we can see on here, and you can see in your book the vocabulary words. So if you guys are all on page what? 25. 25 of your science workbooks. Page 25 of your science workbooks. Page 25 of your science workbooks. We're going to see we have the vocabulary words up top, and then you guys have some questions that go down below. So we're going to take a few minutes to do this, okay? So we're on page 25. We have those vocabulary words. The first word on there is the word force. Oh, force is a push or a pull. A force is any time there's a push or a pull. Now, this isn't just like I push my friend down, or I push my chair in, or I pull the rope. There's a lot of different things that are going to be examples of pushes and pulls. We can almost narrow everything down to being a push or a pull. And we're going to see that a lot in the next few days with those pushes or pull examples. Next up, we have the word friction. Friction is actually an example of a force. So this is kind of cool. Friction is a force that opposes the motion of one object moving past another. So take your hands and put them together. You are applying what? Are you applying a push or a pull? Push. A push. Your hands are going together. Now rub your hands like this. Keep it really light, not like barely touching each other. Is it super easy to move your hands? Yeah. Yeah. Now I want you to put some muscle into it as you push your hands together and try and do it again. Does it take a little more effort? Yeah. That's friction at work. That's that push of its opposing force as it pushes past something. Friction is going to be when something is pretty much rubbing on something else to cause it to slow down a little bit. So when we have our hands and we do it really quick and really light, it's pretty easy. But as soon as you put some muscle behind it and you push those hands together, it's a lot harder because of friction. Our next word is actually two words, is balance force. Balance forces are forces that act together on an object without changing its motion. So this is when things are balanced. You can act on each other, you can pull on each other, but it's not going to change each other's position, okay? So we're not going to do it in the classroom, but how many of you have ever played tug of war before? Yeah. So you can think of tug of war, right? If you and a partner who are about of equal strength are going against each other and the rope's not really moving, that's a balanced force. My strength is equal to that of my friends, so we're not really able to move the rope. Thinking of that same thing, we have an unbalanced force. Forces that do not cancel each other out and that cause an object to change motion. So now we're doing tug of war again, right? And it's me and Griffin and Cooper and Apollo against Ryder. What? We are no longer balanced. No matter how tough Ryder is, he's not quite as tough as the four of us put together, right? And it's an unbalanced force. Are we going to be able to move the rope pretty easy? Yes. Yeah, we're going to. It's unbalanced. Ryder's strength, even though he's super strong, isn't going to match that of me and three other gentlemen, right? It's an unbalanced force. And it doesn't have to be quite that exaggerated to make that work. But the balanced force is when the forces acting on each other cause no movement. That's the balanced force. Unbalanced force is saying, hey, one thing is going to be able to move the other. There's going to be able to cause a change in motion because the forces are unbalanced. Make sense a little bit? I think when we put in that tug of war, it helps a little bit. And our last word is accelerate. And this is a change in speed and direction over time. So when we talk about accelerating, it's picking up speed or picking up direction, but it doesn't happen like that. It's over that period of time. So you're starting to see it moving in over time. Sound good? In that blue box, what I want you to do is circle the words you feel like you knew before we started talking about this today. Words that you felt pretty confident you understood before we started talking about this today. Circle them in that blue box on your page.